Let's see if I can find out who's going live. I think I can look in this. Hey guys. Getting messages like crazy. I should probably tag a bunch of you. Let's see. Just give me 2 shakes. Just tagging everyone. I'll be looking on the computer for the chat. But everybody wanted me to go live. They didn't want to do the chat room, so I'm tagging everyone. Because that's how I roll. Got a big group here. Big group. Hopefully a lot of you can join us because this is pretty important. We had some pretty bad storms here last night, which was predicted. My Alberta friends. Hi, Kyla. How are you, hun? Christy, don't worry about it. I just got your message. Okay. So, hi, Travis. If I'm looking down, it's because I've got the live video here and then I'm looking down at your comments here. Hey, Joanne, how are you? Looks like we've got some more good news in our family. My nephew just got engaged last night. So there's gonna be another wedding next year in our family. I'm very excited about that. I'm looking at your comments as they're coming in because watching them on here, I might need to just swipe. How do I do this? Wave at you, Terry. Forget it. I'll see your comments coming up here and see them coming up on there. We have a lot to talk about today. I'm in my office. I finally have all my stuff from my old place of work. And now I'm set up to start going gung-ho in my office. So I have a day bed in here for my meditation. And I have all my singing bowls over there. And crystals all around me on my desk. And I have a beautiful light. And I just feel I love it. It's my happy place. Yeah, right, Joanne? I'm so excited. We get to dance some more. I love to dance. Joy. Hi, Joy. Oh, sweetie, I miss you so much. Oh, all my clients. I miss you guys. Wave to you, Travis. Oh, so nice to see you guys in here. Okay, guys, listen. I have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to see if I can share some pictures in the chat in a moment. And the reason why I'm kind of wanted to do this is because we have a lot of big events coming up, guys, astrologically in the stars. I want to wait till there's a few more people. I think we have a few of you in here. I know a lot of people said that they had stuff to do. I know at different time zones and, you know, it's the middle of the day and it's Sunday. People want to get out and do things. But I really did feel this was the optimal day because it's more of a day of rest, or it should be. And I felt like this would be a really good time for us to talk about what I'm seeing here. Pretty cataclysmic. Okay, so this is some of the stuff that I'm talking to you guys about today is the stuff that I was privy to hear from astrologist Kelly White. And her name is spelt, I miss you too, Joy, you're so sweet. One day I'll be able to open up my office and maybe we'll have a big chat with all of us, get together or something like that. It'd be really nice. I love my clients. So Kelly White, Kellee White, is a pretty well-known astrologer. She is pretty much James Van Prague's right arm when it comes to astrology, okay? And last week, what are we on, the 15th today? Calendar, 14th. Right, it's Trump's birthday today. I'm sorry, and happy birthday to Susan Brody. I know it's your birthday today, so I want to give a little shout out to Susan for her birthday. But today's also Trump's birthday, so sorry. But there's something that's happening today that's pretty big. So we're going to talk about astrology today, okay? We're going to talk about what's going to happen from now until the next 6 months. A lot of this is really serious. And I felt it was serious enough to do a live chat about. So I took a lot of notes during that meeting, and I thought I'd relay some of this to you. Now, bearing in mind, I am still taking my astrology course with James Van Prague so I can read your birth charts. And that'll be something that I'll offer as a service here coming up soon on my website, is birth chart. And with the birth chart, I'd be reading your birth chart, but I'd also be like comparing it to what's happening right now, like in the current timeline, and what's coming up for you, and what you can kind of expect. Reading your birth chart and understanding a birth chart astrologically is really important. A lot of people go around and they'll know their sun sign, the sign that you're born under. For instance, I'm born on March 20th, and I happen to be a Pisces/Aries. I'm on the cusp, what they call a cusp. Hi, Lisa. Wave at you. And Pisces, Aries is quite a mix. That's water and fire. So, you know, but there's more to it than that. There's more to it. Hi, Zara. Very nice to see you here all the way from Australia. So, you know, astrologically speaking, when it comes to your birth chart, there's more to it. There's an ascending sign. There's your moon sign. For instance, my moon is in Gemini, the communicator, which is why I love to talk. Does that make sense? But I also have my moon or my ascending sign in Cancer. So that's where the love for my community is really important, because Cancerians are very nurturing and all about family and the greater good of the whole, right? So it's all about family and that kind of vibe. And I consider you guys like my family, right? Hi, Lisa. So I'm seeing your comments popping up on the computer screen. I'm also seeing it on here. But I'm going to jump right into it because there's a lot. So we're going to be here for a while, and I'll be happy to answer your questions as I see them jump up on the screen. If I'm seeing them, okay? So I'm going to try to kind of keep a note of that while I'm going through this. So last December, we're going to start with last year, okay? A lot of people, obviously we want to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and what is happening with that. We want to talk a little bit about, you know, what is it going to look like the next 6 months to a year? What are we going to be seeing? As I study my astrology with James Van Prague and I get into it a little bit more, I'll definitely be able to let you guys know more in depth as I'm going. But the important thing is that this message here today is relayed from James Van Prague and astrologer Kelly White, and the notes that I took during our meeting on June 10th. A lot has happened already. So let's talk a little bit about this earth dimension. A lot of people, and I'm going to be popping like lozenges every now and then because I got a dry throat. But this earth dimension, okay? How can I explain it? Our egos are inflated. Our egos have gotten the best of us in the last 10 years. We were meant to, and I'm not sure if people understand, show me by a raise of hands or like a little heart, if you understand what the ascension process means. So just put like a I do or a hand raise, whatever, in the comments. I'll wait. Ascension. What does that mean to you? This is very important, guys, okay? Because it's really part and parcel of what we're seeing happening right now. This virus is not just some fluke. It's something that was seen. It was written in the charts. It was written in the stars, literally. On the day, time, place you're even born, the very minute that you took, the very second that you took a breath, is when your chart was created. But let's talk globally, okay? Aw, Joy, I miss you too, hun. Yeah, like rise, Kyla, exactly, like rising upwards, ascension. It's ascension of the soul, okay? Everybody has a soul. We know this. But there's so much more to our soul than just what we have right here, okay? The human, I want to call it the meat suit, but I really don't want to say that. But our humanness is very ego-centered, okay? So yeah, Joanne, exactly, enlightenment. So it's ascending to a higher level of energy, okay? Another dimension, so to speak. There are tons of books on this. It's called the fourth and fifth dimension, okay? What does this mean? What does it mean when we're ascending? It means that we are actually rising our vibration in our spirit, our soul, to a higher level to meet that, okay, to meet that, going up here, down here to here, to meet that of our ancestors, our angels, and our guides. Literally, okay? Their vibration, and those of us who might be in this group or otherwise, if you have had any kind of spiritual, where you've seen like mediumship, or, like if you're just a seer where you can see clairvoyantly, you can see people from the other side. I know there's a few people that are in this group that can. I'm not going to mention names, but I know that they can. And they are very well aware that these people operate from higher vibration, okay? It's important for me to talk about this before we start getting into what I see happening, because when we know this part, it'll make sense what I'm about to tell you, okay? Now, I wrote a blog post on my website, CandiceAnnMarshallOfficial.com. Go and check it out. It was about COVID-19. Now, I'm a very optimistic thinker. I like to think very positively about events and things that are happening. And I think that love is energy. Love energy is so important when we're talking about events that are coming up and how our soul needs to ascend to a higher level of vibration. Love energy is essentially the source. It is how we are all connected. And it is literally what we need to be raising our vibration to, ascension, in order for us to get through what's coming up, okay? A lot of people are panicking, freaking out. We all know the toilet paper shopping sprees, right? Everybody got a little bit freaked out. Why toilet paper? I still will never understand toilet paper. But anyways, what happened, what happens when that kind of thing, where people panic and they get all scared and, they're afraid, is that is operating from the ego, okay? And the ego is very human. It's our human side. It's very human. So it's very natural as humans to, when we hear fear or we're fed fear through whether it's through media or each other, to panic, right? Therefore, we have toilet paper off the shelves, and people, we have a lot of things going on in this world right now. Rioting, the coronavirus, everything. But it's like that fear gets fed. And media is very aware of this. They're very much aware of this. And this is how governments are run. We know this. It's not a secret. Governments are run feeding fear. When they feed fear, they make money. Okay? Because lives get lost, wars happen, yada, yada. But it's not just that there's this innate knowledge of the governments to do this. It's that it's literally written in their charts. For example, today happens to be Donald Trump's birthday, which is why I chose today to talk about this. Not to do a political speech. This is not about politics. This is about actual facts, okay? Based on the notes that I have here. We're going to get into that. But let me go find his notes. Okay, so today, June 14th. So today is a very powerhouse day, astrologically. Now, what Kelly White, the astrologer, what she talked about when it came to Trump was that he is a number 22 life path number. Now, all of my clients that have seen me in December, January, February, in person, have been told by me that this is a 22 year. 2020 adds up to 22. And it also adds up to the number 4. So 22 is a spirit number. 11, 22, and 33. Okay? Very big numbers. Trump is a 22. And this is a 22 year. Okay? Now, add those two numbers up. We got 4. And 4, we're talking a little bit about numerology right now. It's very important. A 4 is about stability and structure. Okay? So stability, like building blocks. So two things coming together can create something, right? They can build. But they can also cause stagnation too, where you're feeling stuck. And this is where we're at right now, okay? We literally have this stuck energy. Now, I want you guys to imagine, this right now. A teeter-totter, right? On this teeter-totter, on either side of the teeter-totter, there are 5 oranges, which represent our 10 planets. We are literally going to have, as of June 18th, 6 planets retrograde. Okay? Including Mercury, of course. And also it's retrograde in the sign of Gemini. It starts off in Gemini and it ends up in the sign of Cancer. And if you think about that one little orange, it's going to roll to the other side of that teeter-totter. What's going to happen, right? The other oranges are going to go flying off on the other side. It's going to like whomp. So it's literally, that's the metaphor I can give for what we have been seeing in the astrology charts, okay? Now I'm going to get into the specifics. So December 26, 2019, up until January 10th, we had 2 eclipses, okay? And that literally shifted the public perception of safety. This is what has happened. So this is when the pandemic broke out, right? Or so they say. I personally feel it started since last summer. They're already discovering that. And I noted that way back, I think it's like a month and a half, 2 months ago. I said publicly on my Facebook that I saw this pandemic starting last summer. And now it's being discovered that it was. So it's not just, when I'm feeling things psychically or energetic and I'm feeling that vibe and I'm going to say something, I speak it out. And it's best to speak it out right away rather than to say it after the fact. I know that my mentor, Jessica Wiggin, who runs Bahati Life, she talks a lot about that. If you're psychically or feeling something and you speak it out or write it even on paper and it happens later, it's pretty big. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening on the other side, okay? So we have literally like the architects who have built our world, our universe, our society, and we'll call them our angels, our guides, the creator, God, who, whatever it is that you choose to believe in, and the universe. They have literally said, you know what, these people aren't getting it. It's that ego, right? Our ego, we're operating from ego, and our egos are so inflated. So if you look around in the world up until the pandemic hit, we know this. We can see this in our governments. Okay, see ya, Kyla. Yeah, definitely watch later. There's a lot going on. So, you know, we have a lot of this happening in our government up until the pandemic. You know, the egos are inflated. And what does that mean? Well, we have our architects standing there above us or at this dimension, and they're looking at us like, what the, you know, like, come on, people, get your shit together. Excuse me, I'm gonna swear, because that's how I roll. But they're gonna be like, get your shit together, you know. So what do? Okay, well, we're gonna just throw this at them. We're gonna throw this pandemic at them. We're gonna start. Hi, Jen. I'll just wave at you. Nice to see you here. Now, what this means is, you know, we get a pandemic. We have a whole bunch of stuff coming up, guys. A whole bunch of stuff, okay? The pandemic is the tip of the iceberg. Now, I'm not bringing this here to be a fearmonger, okay? Because I do want to talk about ways to cope with this and ways to find peace in all of this too, because that is literally what I'm studying, is to be a spiritual healer and to be able to help you to kind of get through these moments that can be very, very tense, scary, and can make you afraid. Now, once again, I want to go back to the whole idea of what is fear. Fear is ego. It is not truly where we're meant to be operating from. We're meant to be truly operating from the soul, spirit, which is love, source, energy, okay? Now, when you eliminate fear from your mind, you can literally change your life, because then you're operating from trust. We'll get into that, but I just want to get through this part first. Okay, so we have, let's see, 3 main aspects. Force us to go inward, do our work. Yeah, we're going inward, all right. We've been forced in our 4 walls, a 4-year, right? 22 is 4. We've been forced and we're stuck. Somewhat. Making the unconscious conscious is what we're forced to be doing right now, okay? So we're waking up. This is, again, what I'm talking about with ascension. So part of that was what happened with George Floyd, okay? It was that waking up. It's like, wake up, world. Like, let's see what the reality is that's going on. Our shadow side is going to make the unconscious conscious. And that's not just our personal shadow side. It is the shadow side in the whole world. It's operating on a whole, okay? So, so we have Pluto retrograde from, let's talk about the planets. Hey, honey. My daughter's in here. Let's talk about the planets. Pluto retrograde is from April 25th till October 5th. It's in the sign of Capricorn. And if anybody knows about the sign of Capricorn, it is all about that hardworking. I mean, Travis, you're Capricorn, you understand this. Hardworking, devoted, very serious. It's like it's the punch, right? It's like, and Pluto is the sign of death, destruction, transformation. Okay? So we've got this serious Capricorn sign with the planet Pluto, and it's like, hello, I'm here. I'm here to mess everything up. It's not going to mess anything up. What it is it's going to dismantle what it does not serve you for your highest and greatest good. It's going to dismantle things. It's a true test of faith, guys. Okay? Okay, say hi to her, Joanne. Talk to you soon. Come back and watch. Last time that we actually had Pluto retrograde like this in the sign of Capricorn was when there was an American Revolution. Okay? Keep that in mind. So this will greatly affect your work, guys. Sometimes death is a good thing. It depends on what's going on exactly, Travis. So what this is going to do, you know, with Pluto retrograde, it's going to bring up deep feelings and emotions, okay? Like purging of them as well, right? So it's going to be that. It's going to be affecting your work life because Capricorn affects your work life. You know, it's going to come in. It's going to shake shit up. What did it do to me? For example, I was working in a actual brick and mortar, right? Doing my readings. Coronavirus hits. I get sick. And I'm forced to be working from home. Pluto retrograde. Right there. revisiting, reevaluating. It is bringing up deep feelings and emotions. Who's all like having like, how are you guys feeling? I mean, I can't tell you how many clients have called me in the last week and they're just like, dude, like I'm crying. I'm like going for long drives. I'm like, uh-huh, I understand. I know. This is normal. We're meant to be torn down a bit. Okay, we need to see the broken bits. We need to realize what is important. Okay, that is forcing us. That Capricorn sign and Pluto is forcing us to do this. Now we have Saturn retrograde, okay? May 11th till September 29th. Saturn is about karma. It's the teacher planet, okay? It is in the sign of Aquarius. And if anybody knows about the sign of Aquarius, it's all about independence. Aquarians are natural born leaders. Very much, even in the tarot, they are the star card in the tarot deck. And the which represents like innovative, like they're separate from the herd. And a lot of people can kind of spot an Aquarian in a crowd. It's like, why is that person like not joining with the rest of the group? Like, why are they so? Because they are so far advanced in their thinking spiritually that they are literally always thinking of like 10 years ahead. Okay, so here we are, the age of Aquarius, and Saturn is saying, you know, this is what's happening. Now, as of July 1st, it'll be in Capricorn, and then it goes back into Aquarius. I believe it's for quite a few, maybe a year, a couple years. But the last time that Saturn was retrograde with Aquarius and Capricorn was when the Rodney King riots in 1992 happened. So you're kind of getting where I'm going here with all this, guys, okay? So now we have two planets that are here to literally mess shit up. Venus, let's talk about Venus, the planet of love. It can also be about boundaries and being a strict teacher. May 13th, okay, it goes direct. And then it was retrograde from May 13th till June 26th. June 26th, it goes direct in the sign of Gemini. Let's talk a little bit about this. It will affect difficult relationships. Okay, I am saying this to my clients right now. If you are in a difficult relationship, you will be tested. Incredibly. Even the best relationships will be tested in this time period. And actually, I believe it's June 23rd, that Father's Day, that it's going to be most tested, okay? Now, we have Jupiter. Jupiter, everybody loves Jupiter. Because Jupiter is the planet of good luck, good fortune. It's always the happy planet. Not always. When it's retrograde, we're looking at it, you know, things like a revisit, so to speak. So May 14th till September 13th. Like this summer, we're getting hit, guys. May 14th till September 13th, it's also in the sign of Capricorn again. It magnifies and forces us to review things we haven't dealt with yet. Last time was the summer of 2008. Now we all know, hi Audrey, we all know, I'll just wave to her. In the summer of 2008, we had the elections, you know, Obama, you know, the elections that were happening then. But we also had, I think that wasn't that a year of another recession. So, you know, like we have what? We have Pluto, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, all these planets retrograde. Yay! Gets better, guys. I'm not done yet. Full moon lunar eclipse was on June 5th. It was a clearing of the air, change and transformation. So, okay, let's talk about the societal reset that's going to happen. Now we're going to talk about dates. If you guys have a notebook, or even if you want to record this, you can do it, or you can just refer back to this video. But this is the start. 2020 is literally the start of the Great Transformation. Hi, Audrey. June 13th was Mars conjunct Neptune. So it's saying what's hidden gets revealed. I think that was around that time that we were talking about when coronavirus was originally discovered. Yeah. Actually, This chat with Kelly White and James Van Prague that I had with them was on June 10th. And she said June 13th, we may find out where COVID originated or when it started. Okay, and we have. Hi, Candice. My other little twin there. I love you. Neptune rules dreams, and it also affects the oil and gas. Okay, so Neptune, Mars conjuncts Neptune. It conjunct Neptune on June 13th. So, you know, June 14th. Let's talk about today, Trump's birthday. Okay, so here's the thing. We have, you know, Trump's life path number, as we talked about numerology, is a 22. So it's about the builder and the destroyer. Okay, so 22 is a spirit number. It's a builder and a destroyer. Now this is 2020. Numerology, again, add 2020. It's 22, spirit number. So building and destroying, or destroying and building, whichever way. Now, his birthday is a 33 day between two eclipses. So there's a great change coming right now. Great change, great power, great intensity for the health and welfare of the world. Okay. This is a powerhouse day today. Very powerhouse. Secretive stuff gets in. When Kelly White mentioned this, she was very, very serious about secret stuff getting in. One of the things she did allude to a degree was the elections that are happening this year. And the fact that we may see a re-election, a certain president getting re-elected. However, they also saw that in December of this year, very much in tune with what Sylvia Brown, one of my other mentors, saw, was that there would be a president in the White House. He would, in the Oval Office, he would have a heart attack. Now, one of the interesting things that Kelly White and James Van Prague says, they saw something like that, similar, happening. It's very interesting. So even if he's reelected, this could be, you know, it can be very interesting what we're going to see come December, okay? Now, June 18th, that's literally in 4 days, we are going, Mercury will be going retrograde, okay? A lot of people groaned. They're like, oh, Mercury retrograde, really? Yep. I mean, here we have Mercury going retrograde. So let's talk about the intensity of Mercury retrograde. It usually lasts, it comes about 3 times a year, and it usually lasts about 3 weeks. Mercury retrograde is the planet of Mercury is the planet of communications, okay? So, you know, and it's going retrograde in the sign of Gemini, so it's ruling air. Now, when they say a planet is retrograde, they say it's moving back or it's receding. It doesn't actually do that, but it actually stops and makes you pause. Okay, so you got to look at the importance of each planet and what they mean. Now, Mercury being the planet of communications, and you think about this, it's in the sign of Gemini, which is the sign of the communicator, the twins, right? They're ruled by air. They're an air sign. And air, let's think about this. I wouldn't want to be in an airplane during this time, okay? They're strongly recommending that if you have air travel in the time of Mercury retrograde, while it's in the sign of Gemini, which starts June 18th, I believe June 23rd, it starts off in the sign of Cancer. June 23rd is Cancer, I believe. So you have 5 days there where they're recommending not to be in a plane, okay? That makes sense, you know. We don't want to see anything. There's plane troubles, there's internet troubles. It conjuncts the sun at 9 degrees Cancer, which means, and it'll square Chiron. I know this is very technical terms, but this means that empaths, people like you guys who are joining this group, you join this group for a reason, is because you have a very empathic nature. You worry about the greater good of man. You feel it on an energy and an emotional level when something happens to someone in your life, in your family. Empaths are going to feel it 10, 20, 30 times magnified in this time, okay? Mercury retrograde, typically will affect most people. Now, if your birth chart, the day, time, place you were born, if Mercury was retrograde when you were born, it won't affect you as much. Something to think about. This happens with all these planets. So just because, though, it doesn't affect you doesn't mean it won't affect the rest of the world. So you might be saying, but the rest of the world's going crazy. Very interesting. So I just want to go back to my notes here. Yeah, Chiron is the wounded healer. The astrology, it's all about astrology, spiritual healing, family wounds, shamanic healing is really good. Those things are really good to work on in this time. If you are on a spiritual path, for example, I know a lot of my clients that are in this group who are becoming Reiki healers, or they're doing shamanism, or they're taking a path like me where they're studying astrology, or they're studying spiritual healing, or they're studying psychic intuition, or even mediumship. This is going to be extremely heightened from June 18th until July 12th. Okay, it's a 3-week period where this is going to be, it's like the Flintstones, when you hear that wah, like Fred Flintstone's got the big lump on his head. This is like a time where it's going to be very important to pay attention to the energy that's happening around you, okay? Because it's going to really feel like, I'm even feeling it, like my daughter last night, we had a storm here, really bad storm. It's part of what I'm going to be talking about as well, about the storms that are happening this summer. My daughter was at a friend's place. They're coming back from there. Now, she's very empathic. And people who know my daughter know that she's also very gifted as in mediumship. She doesn't know this yet, but she's very clairvoyant. My youngest. My oldest as well. She's very much a clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant. She dreams things on a psychic level, very prophetically. Okay, so she was coming home. The storm was happening, and she literally got so physically sick, and she's a Gemini. Okay, so keep this in mind. She's a Gemini, so we already have this, and she's just so affected that she had her boyfriend stop the car, and she had to get out on the side of the road, and she was puking her guts out. She just had the worst feeling. And he kept her calm till they got home. But this is something she told me this morning, and I was like I was worried too, because the storm started, and we had tornado warnings here all over from southern Alberta up. Calgary was really hit. I'll be sharing pictures later of how bad it was hit. One of my clients shared some pictures of her car and the damage that happened to it. It's a write-off. So yeah, it's really going to affect a lot of us in that way. 1 second. Okay. Let's see the rest of my notes here. June 19th, Sun conjuncts North Node in Gemini at 29 degrees. This is very important. Very important day. The reason why, this is your identity and purpose in life. This is a day you want to actually ask your angels and guides before you go to sleep that night, what is my true purpose? Still have some coughing going on. You have to work with your right brain. The right side is where we channel energy from spirit. And you have to really work on that identity and purpose in life on that time. So whether you write it in a journal or you say it out loud before you fall asleep that night, it's saying, angels, guides, and ancestors, ask, what is my true purpose? What is my identity? What is my purpose in this life? Ask that. The next morning, write down in your journal what you were shown. I guarantee you it's going to be epic. Okay? Now, when the sun conjuncts the North Node, especially in the sign of Gemini, the communicator, air sign, we're communicating with spirit. We're communicating with not just our spirit, but with that of our ancestors, angels, and guides. 29 degrees, that's huge. Okay. There's more, guys. Big event of the year, June 21st. June 19th, Travis. Okay. Make a mental note of that. Put it in your calendar, whatever. This is a time where if you're feeling really lost, you're confused, what's happening in this world, what's going to happen next, that's the night you ask your angels, guides, and ancestors, what is the next step? What is my purpose? What, and they're going to reveal it to you. Guaranteed, okay? So June 21st, the sun enters Cancer, summer solstice. It's also a solar eclipse. And it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Okay, so every day, starting June 21st, for the next 3 months, get your spirituality focused, okay? There's going to be 3 months of eclipses. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Like, we have more this year than we've had. I think she said it was like in 20 or 22 years, something like that. So this is where you're going to want to really focus on meditation. You're going to want to focus on doing something for others, whether it's, a charity event, something like that. So it's 0 degrees Cancer at that time. It's very potent. Yeah. Oh, Travis, you cracked me up. Okay, so this same eclipse happened in 2001. Okay, this very same eclipse, when it was 0 degrees Cancer. This is huge. June 21st, okay? European and Eastern countries are going to be affected. Now, 9/11, right? Let's think about that. That year, it happened, didn't it? 2001? 0 degrees Cancer, very potent, okay? Now, what Kelly White did see was that it won't affect, she said New York's already had its turn, and boy, you guys have had it. But she's saying this will be more like the European and Eastern countries that are going to be affected. It will be a North Node eclipse, and it will be there, June 21st, to rewrite your destiny. Be mindful of everything you do. This is the warning she gave. And watch your consumption of, and if you have to, I'm not talking like just recreational drugs, but drugs, alcohol, watch everything addictions wise, okay? Whatever addictions you have, watch that. Okay, wake up. It's a very big day, June 21st. So the eclipse squares Mars, Mercury, Neptune, and retro Venus direct. So it's a push-pull energy is what we're going to be feeling. Make sure you also watch your animals, okay? Because you're going to be feeling like, oh, like what the hell hit me? You might get dizziness, you might get nuts, just like my daughter, empathic. You guys are empathic. So watch your animals too, because they're going to really react. They really react to everything that you're feeling and going through. So you got to really watch how they're feeling as well. They might get sick. They might be, very like skittish. They might be sad or down or depressed. Like their energy is very much our energy, right? And they feed off of us. So use a journal. She also said to use a journal of what you are experiencing for the whole decade. Yeah, guys, it's not just now, it's the whole decade. This whole next 10 years is very, very important. I've said this so many times to people in readings. I've talked about the last 8 years when Ascension started to really amp up. People didn't get it. We still operated on ego. Now we're operating on spirit. So important. You guys really honestly cannot... I can't say cannot. I can't force your free will, but I will say this. It is very important to be aware that our world is not going to go back to the same way it was after all of these events, okay? Like, we are operating from a different level, different dimension. Now, there's a reason why there's been a rise in the belief and the practice of what I'm doing, whether it's spiritual healing, psychic, intuitive healing, mediumship, Reiki, theta healing, whatever practice it is that you're in, you know, really keep that in mind, okay? Because psychic abilities and mediumship is on the increase, and this is over the next 10 years, okay? So that is literally the fourth and fifth dimensions is what we're going to be working with. So it's also creativity, okay? Because God is creation. God and love, source energy is creation. And when we put a thought out from our soul and we connect to, and it's a positive thought, love is attracted to that. And that's where we start to create, okay? So the next 10 years is not about, you know, oh, we got to rebuild society and this, that. Yeah, of course we're going to have to do that. There's all these things that are going to have to happen, but it's not going to be the same. People will not be going to the pharmacy all the time for a prescription drug. They're going to be using herbs. They're going to be using natural remedies. This is why apothecaries are on the rise. People who are, you know, creating custom oils. I even like my mentor, like she makes all these oils. I work with them all the time with my clients, with my readings. Another one I love, she's local here in Edmonton, Warrior Apothecary. She creates custom oils as well. Very, like, she even has like a hand sanitizer. Amazing. I'll drop the links below too if you guys want to check those out. But this is what I'm talking about, right? Like we're doing different ways of ascension, of rising our vibrations so that we can understand and connect. And when you're numbing yourself with drugs or alcohol, you're not seeing it. You're not waking up, right? We're operating from fear base. And that's not where we're going. So you're either going to want to be a part of the ride or you're going to be left behind. It's as simple as that, right? We'll talk a little bit about the ascension process a little bit later too. I'll get back to that. But June 23rd, Neptune is in the sign of Pisces. Hello. Escapism. Be awake and aware of the truth of your reality because it will be painful. June 23rd is a very painful day. We're going to be seeing the reality of our lives, okay? We're going to be waking up. Neptune wants to dissolve our ego, okay? It wants us to find oneness with spirit. So this is what I'm talking about, whether you're going to be on board or not, or left behind. You can look at your life and say, oh, it's a shambles, and oh, this is, you know, whatever is happening in your world, and I'm not living your life, so I can't, right? Your feelings are true to you. But it's very important that you guys start paying attention to intuitive messages you're getting. They're not coming to you by fluke, and you're not just thinking it up by chance. Your angels and guides and ancestors are literally trying to get through to you, okay? They're literally trying to tell you that this is your life path, this is your journey, and this is what's happening in your life right now. And when you look at your life on June 23rd, Father's Day, isn't that Father's Day? No, that's 21st. June 23rd, it's wake up day. It's time for us to just like go, okay? I'm just going to read this message. Terry, yeah, we'll catch up on this later because I still got quite a bit more. So that's a day where you're going to have some serious intuitive messages sent to you. Pay attention. This is why I'm telling you guys, journal, very important. June 25th, Venus goes direct. Yay, we're going to have a relief. Hi, Erin. Hi, sweetie. That's my daughter's friend. June 25th, Venus goes direct, so there's some relief. You know, so there'll be 5 planets retrograde then instead of 6. And June 28th, Mars enters the sign of Aries. Now, if anybody knows the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, Mars is the masculine planet, the hard-hitting planet as well. Venus is very feminine, very love-based. So now we have Mars And if anybody knows anything about the sign of Aries, it's all about, they're the first in the zodiac. They're the baby of the zodiac. So they're very energetically like ramped up and like let's go, it's go time, like very, very action oriented. My grandfather was an Aries, and he owned a very, very prominent pipeline business in North America that he traveled globally for. So it's a perfect sign of that. But Mars and Aries together, oh my God, guys. This is going to be ego at its worst, like legit. It can be an aggression, weapons, violence. Okay, so June 28th, and this stays with us till January 26th, 2021. Okay, take a breath, grab a drink, do what you need to do. We're about to put on our seatbelts, guys. Because 6 months, there's going to be some dismantling. Don't forget the other planets that I talked about, right? We've got all these things going on, but Mars entering Aries on June 28th is all about ego. It's all about aggression. Like, you know, when we're talking about, possibly war, there's potential here, okay? It may not necessarily be war. It may be like a revolutionary war, okay? Things like that. You know, it may be just, more rioting. It can show up in things like that. So it's going to be very important that, we're paying attention. June 28th till January 26th. That's like almost 7 months of this. June 25th, we have a little bit of relief and everybody's feeling a little bit happier. But then all of a sudden, we turn around 3 days later, we have this going on. Guys, this is not, this is a very serious chat that I'm having with you today. This is why I wanted to come on. Because I really want you to take notes. I really want you to write this down in your journals. And I wanted to relay the messages that I was relayed to by my mentors, James Van Praagh and Kelly White, because this is important. I want you guys to all understand that when I say we are ascending and we are reaching ascension, we are not staying the same. We are not going to stay, doing our same old routine and doing life the way it was. There's massive change coming here, June 29th, the day after, Jupiter, the planet of, good luck, good fortune, conjuncts Pluto, the planet of death, destruction, and change. And guess what? It's 29 degrees, which is also very potent in the sign of Sagittarius. It brings out everything. It is going to increase your fears. It's going to, fears of death. It's going to bring out fanatics like crazies. I recommend staying home June 29th. I'm sorry. It's just me, my comedic side. But I personally am happy that I'm working from home now. Because, June 29th, we're seeing that, okay? But this is going to happen again on November 12th as well. So, along with Mars entering Aries and having this 7-month period of like ego inflated aggression, weapons, and violence, which the universe, God, our creators, our angels, our guides are like, we're going to dump this on you. 2020 right into 2021. Let's just do this. We got to change this up because, we can't keep operating from the same way. We're going nowhere. We're just like turning our wheels. And if anybody understands what I'm saying and can say, like, my life the last maybe, 5-10 years, even the last 3 years, for most people has been life-changing. It could be very upsetting. It could be very traumatic. It could be very revealing, but now this year is like literally like the, I don't know if you recall 2016, we had a lot of passings in the music communities, right? Chester, there was like Chester Bennington, Lincoln Park. We had I think it was Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain the year later. We had a lot of these very much so ascendant masters. They were like ascendant masters, people who are meant to leave their legacy and their mark in the world. And they just couldn't, they're older, a little bit older, so a lot of people who are older won't be able to handle this ascension. They're just gonna be like, all right, I'm out, you know. It's hard. It's gonna be hard work. But I'm telling you with absolute certainty that once we get through this, you guys are going to seriously love life, okay? We were brought to this planet at this time. We all chose in our birth chart to come here at a very specific time, okay? And we wrote down, who? Travis? Who? Sorry, I'll get to that in a moment. Just let me finish my train of thought here. We were here for a very specific time. We said in our birth chart, okay, we're going to come here when all this crap hits the fan. Now, let's talk a little bit about that, okay? Because even though I just got to move my leg. Got it tucked under me and it's like, it's cramping up. We all chose to come here at a very specific time in life, in this world. And I don't even want to say time, space, because time really has no relevance. We'll talk about that later too. But we came here at this very specific moment because we, who are going to be able to handle this ascension, are going to be greatly rewarded. And I'm not kidding, right? You're right. I'm sorry, Travis, my mind's not even thinking that right now. Yeah, there's a lot of passings. But we came here specifically to go through this. We signed up and said, yeah, you know what? Because we have so many incarnations and reincarnations in our lifetimes. They say, I'm reading a book, I actually have it in my library here, and it's about having up to 800 incarnations in one soul in order for you to finally stay on the other side, or with your star families. It's a whole other discussion. But 800 is a lot. Some of us said, no, we're going to sign up for this moment in time, this events, this stuff, because we don't want to come back. So our reward is great, okay? We're going to see it in life, and you will see it when you pass. And I can tell you that with absolute certainty. These are things that I've been meditating on the last week, and it has been coming to me so strongly. You know, the rewards that are going to come to us. And man, you guys paid some really big reward, or big hits in the last few years, right? Okay, so it's like getting the golden ticket, right? We're here, we're experiencing this, and because of the crap that we're experiencing, we get a golden ticket. It's going to be quite beautiful. Now, this whole decade is going to give us huge growth. This month in particular, which is literally kicking everything off, is about healing humanity. Now is the time, so I wrote this down, now it's time to get in tune to the 80% of our outer body. James Van Prague always talks about us being the big toe to the soul. This suit that we're in right now, our body, is literally the big toe to the soul. So there's so much more to us than just what you're experiencing or feeling right now. And so, you know, to connect and to kind of eliminate fear from your life will allow you to not attract it into your life. It's very much about the law of attraction and what you think. I always say to people, what you think about, you bring about. If you're going to focus on death, you're going to focus on fear, and you're going to be like, you know, and freeze up. Like I said, you're going to be left behind, guys. You're going to be, you know, I'd love to see all of you guys come into this, step into your spirit, step into this growth. It's going to be tough, okay? Like, we're going to have a tough few 6-7 months, but I'm telling you, it's, you know, after that, we're seeing some really nice changes. Now, July 5th, there'll be a lunar eclipse in Capricorn again. Capricorn, what is with you Capricorns? It brings about healing goals for one's self. Things you thought of your whole life will come up. That's good. Okay. Things you thought of your whole life. Maybe it's a project. Maybe it's a goal for yourself. Like those things are going to come up. Now, we're going to skip over to September. There's going to be something big happening in September. Mars is going to go retrograde in the sign of Aries again. It's a planet of war, power, intensity, transformation. Now, we have 33 days of Mars in retrograde this year. So it with Aries, it could bring about war and terrorism. So life-changing events. So be very cognizant. I don't want to say you guys should stay in your homes and be like little recluses, because that's not realistic. We all still have to live life. But at the same token, don't be surprised when you're seeing these things happening, okay? Because it's been happening for 8 years. And this is part of the ascension process. And it is awful. And it is yucky. It is dark. It's like tar. But the universe is pulling it out here and there and everywhere. And it's saying, guys, we can't keep operating the same way you guys have been. You're not going to ascend. You're not going to meet us on the level you're supposed to be at. It's like the game of Pac-Man. This is an old 1980s game, by the way. I don't know if people still play it, but like you gotta, beat the ghosts to get to the next level. And this is literally what we're doing. November 30th, there'll be another lunar eclipse. It's time to let go of the old at that point. Okay? We're letting go of the old. Old fears, old relationships, old businesses, jobs, whatever it is. It's a fresh start. Okay? Relief at last. The last eclipse will be December 19th. 19. Let's talk about that number. It's the number of endings and new beginnings. You add the numbers up, it's 1. Okay? So 19 is about endings. My mother passed on a 19 day. And December 19th, this year will be the last eclipse. It'll be Jupiter in Aquarius. So this is a new age way of thinking. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the pattern here? Okay, we started talking about what's happening right now, all this chaos in June, all the way up until December 19th. And you see the expansion. So it's like the universe has said, okay, all right, guys didn't get it the last 8 years, so we're going to throw this all to you in a 6-month time frame. You're either going to get it, you're going to be on board, strapped in for the ride, you're going to be left behind. Start to think differently, outside the box. New age way of thinking. You guys think I'm crazy? I've had people literally say, like I've put down things or prophecies that even I've seen happen on my Facebook. I'll once, my personal Facebook, or even in here, I'll put out things. I had one person actually make a comment about what it is that I do. Now, this person has sourced me out for information about their future, and it's happened. And they actually mocked what I do on Facebook, and I was just like, "You're gonna be left behind, bud." Let's think about this. We have to think outside the box. We have to think spiritually. We need to go there, because if we don't, you're going to be stuck in ego. And ego is being destroyed this year. Our humanness is being destroyed. It's being dismantled and torn apart. Physically, environmentally, in every way, shape, or form, so that we can ascend to spirit, ascend to a higher level of thinking and learning. December 21st, which is the winter solstice, Jupiter and Saturn will conjunct, and this is when we will see them finding a vaccine for the virus, something like that. Okay? So, to sum things up, the tipping point, which is what I spoke about at the very beginning of this video, The tipping point for this world that our ancestors and angels and guides, the universe, God, the creator on the other side, is that the majority are not awake. They have not been awake for a very long time. And we should have ascended by now. Now, the people who, I don't want to say that they jumped ship, because it's not an accurate way of saying it, because they knew what they were going to do, what their mark was, and they were going to leave. But the people who have died by suicide, they were very, very advanced souls that knew this was coming, and they were already paving quite a few paths in their own way, but the ascension process was just really tough on them. And so this is where we're seeing a lot of labels like schizophrenia or psychosis and things like that. Not to demean anybody who is a psychologist or psychiatrist, but a lot of people are being told that they have these diagnoses, like psychosis and stuff like this, when in actuality, they are very advanced souls, and they are ascending at a very rapid pace than the rest of us, who are very human, who are very ego-based. Okay? These souls, like I can tell you with absolute certainty, I can attest to this because my oldest daughter has been told this. You have psychosis. And I kept telling her, no, you don't. You're ascending faster than the rest of us. She saw the actual rioting 2 weeks before it happened. She had a dream. She woke up. She was very upset. She phoned me. She told me all about this. And she said, Mom, I don't know what this means. And then it started happening. So, we have children in our family. Like, I want to talk about kids and animals again. I want to go back to this because this next 6 months, 7 months is going to be so rapid. The kids are going to be looking at us like, again, don't react out of fear. Hi, Susan. I wished you happy birthday earlier. Hopefully you can listen back because it's really important. It's a really good video on what's happening the next 6-7 months. Now, I want to mention that, even though this is going to be such a massive transformation over the next 6 to 7 months, our kids, our animals are going to be very affected. I want to talk about children in particular. It's very important for us to tell them that we're going to be okay. Okay? Because we're going to be together. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through it. We're going to be together. Really reassure them. That's part of this healing process because they are the next generation. They need to know that how we handle this, and when it comes their time to start taking over the world, so to speak, and start teaching, educating, healing others. You're welcome, Susan. And we're starting to, see that change because we, like it or not, we're getting older. They're the next generation. It's very important to give them that assurance because right now, and this has been happening with even my kids. We've been looking at, we watched a little bit of the news and stuff like that. And I just I'm shutting this off. I'm not going to listen to media. I'm going to listen to my soul. What is my soul telling me? What is my spirit telling me? Right? Hi, Stephen. So very big changes. And it's so important to keep our families and our loved ones, especially children and animals, really, really calm during this time and let them know that we're going to be okay. Because like I said, when it's their turn to take over what we're doing and they're leading us into the future, it's going to be so important for them to feel confidence in what their spirit is telling them. That's another thing I want to mention. Really, if you have children or you've been around children or even grandchildren, whatever, who are like very gifted, they're very gifted and intuitively, and they're seeing things or they're hearing things or they're feeling things. It's clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance. It's true. Like kids are and animals are the most pure form of love. And they are feeling these things on such a higher vibration than we are, because they're, a lot of them who are born, especially in the last 8 years, are star children, star seeds. And these star seed children, sorry, I got something in my eye, are literally going to be helping us to ascend. They're going to become ascendant masters. Ascendant masters are people like Mother Teresa, Gandhi. Jesus Christ was an ascendant master. You know, the big ones, the big names, Princess Diana, ascendant masters, teaching the world on a global scale on how to show kindness, love, compassion, looking out for the majority and not just for the self, right? Another lozenge. So very, very important to think about these children. I think my girlfriend Candice, if you're still in here, your little Maggie, I see a lot in her when I look at the pictures that you show. I do see her doing something pretty big, and something I'd love to talk to you about on a personal note, but I'm seeing this in children. Like, you know, people when they came to see me in person for their readings, and their little child will be there, I just stare at that child. It meant more to me to just look at that little child or a grandchild than the person I was reading themselves, because they're the next generation. And seeing that pureness in them, that love, that trust for humanity, that trust for, you know, the people around them. Why would we want to damage that? You know, why would we want to instill fear and ego in them? Yes, you know, we want to teach them to do right, but we want to teach them how to protect themselves as well. But if we're operating from a place of love, and our spirit and our soul and our mind is already there, you're only going to attract more love into your life, not fear, okay? And that's where confidence is built. Okay, so if you guys want to know more about what I've talked about today, you can go to kellywhite.com, Kellee, White, WHITE.com. She's amazing. I'm not promoting anybody here. I'm just saying that this woman was quite amazing. Enough so that I did sign up for the James Van Prague astrology course that day, because I just want to know more and to be able to offer that to my clients. Let's see what else. What did I put here? The one thing I do want to mention is that dreams, the next few months, you guys are going to be having very lucid dreams. I had one last night. It was profound. You're going to have visitation dreams from your ancestors, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your cat, your dog, whatever it is that's on the other side. You're going to have visitation dreams. It doesn't mean they're coming for you. It actually means they're telling you something. Pay attention, write it down. And you're going to have prophecy dreams. My daughter Ashley, also known as Naomi, she has those prophecy dreams, okay? Very, very, very important to note that that's what we're seeing in the next 6 to 7 months, okay? Now, let me just see. I myself, I've written down some of my meditations. So I really want to kind of talk about now, briefly about how you guys can kind of make it through this period. If you're just joining us, please listen back to this whole feed, because there's a lot that we went through. There's a lot that's happening. And I want to talk a little bit on how we can kind of get through that. The most important thing, and as I've mentioned copious amounts of times in this live video, is meditation, okay? A lot of people, you know, back even when I was younger, I'd scoff at it. I'm like, meditation? I don't have time for that. I don't have 5 minutes of my day to meditate. Seriously, that was the thing that I used to laugh at. Why would I want to meditate? What am I going to do? Sit cross-legged and, you know? And it doesn't mean sitting cross-legged. It means let's kind of debunk the, you know, the whole idea of meditation. It's not so that you're sitting cross-legged on a pillow and singing Om forever. Like, it's not about that. It's about literally going out in nature, connecting with animals, connecting with, sitting down on the grass, taking your shoes off, putting your feet in the grass and feeling it, feeling earth energy. Mother Earth is there to heal us, you know. Um, Looking at the birds and the animals around you, even, sitting in the quiet. A lot of the times, James will actually say to us, if we're new to meditation, go in a room in your house where no one can interrupt you, shut the door, and sit in the dark for 15 minutes. Don't sit there thinking about what you should be thinking about. Just let your mind wander. You'd be shocked at what comes up, what intuitive messages come to you. Because I've done it. I've done it in this office that I'm sitting in right now. I have a billion crystals around me, so I know which ones I want to work with when it comes to meditation. I have my singing bowls there. Like, I have little tools and different modalities of working with meditation. But that doesn't mean that you guys have to go out and buy a million crystals or singing bowls or anything. It can be as simple as going out in nature and just getting in tune to nature, right? So there's that. Getting a journal. I don't have time to write. Okay, voice, get your phone. Pretty much all of you have a cell phone, so I'm sure that there's a little voice memo thing in there. Just talk into it. This is what I experienced today, and if you want, have a thing that converts it to text. It's simple. You don't have to write if you don't want to, if you don't have the time, but do it. You're going to look back at all this, guys, okay? And you're going to say, holy crap. All of these messages happened in this amount of time on this specific date. And it was to tell me something bigger than myself. Things I keep getting in my meditations are, there's so much more than just our soul around us, okay? Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to ascension. A lot of people are going around, I'm tired, I'm feeling too sleepy, I don't feel like I'm getting enough sleep, that kind of thing. Sleep is either you're being robbed of it, or you're sleeping too much. This is normal, okay? This is part of ascension. Being in the dreamlike state, I don't want to say that it's not realistic to sit there and sleeping 12 hours a day. It is. It isn't realistic. But I will say you're going to find that you're going to need more sleep, because that is how you're going to be able to connect to your guides a lot better and get the messages that you need so that you can make it through the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life. Even the next 5 or 10. It's getting the rest. I myself, notoriously, the last 12 years since my mother passed, I barely ever sleep. My brain's always going. But in the last 3 months since I've started these courses with James Van Prague, I have been actively meditating more and finding that I am sleeping a little bit more than I did. Getting that rest, because I'm no longer operating from fear or the ego. I'm operating from my spirit, and it has helped enormously. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. Now, I have a little bit of an exercise that I wanted to kind of just do. Don't worry, you guys don't have to do anything hard. I just want to, this is something that I was taught to do by James Van Prague, and I found it completely beneficial when it comes to working with my clients when I do my spiritual healing. I would like you guys to just kind of get really relaxed right at this moment if you can. Maybe shut out the noise around you and stuff like that. Shut the door, even turn the light off. Just kind of get in a relaxed state. And I really want you to focus on this. This is a really cool exercise, and I found it to be quite profound. One of the I'm not probably going to quote it exactly the way James did, but I'm definitely going to explain to you what this means. But this is going to help you to understand where you're at spiritually. This is important because with everything I've talked about, you want to kind of know where you're at. And if you do know where you're at and how far you might need to go when it comes to your spiritual growth, your ascension, then this will help you, because 6 months from now, doing this exercise again will be different for you. Could even be different a month from now. Okay. So get in a really relaxed state. And I want you guys to shut your eyes. Okay. Just close your eyes and just allow your mind to kind of just drift a little bit. Okay. Just listen to the sound of my voice talking to you. And I want you to imagine that you're in a movie theater. Okay? It's dark inside, and the only thing that you can see in front of you is the blank screen. And on that blank screen, I'm going to ask you to project something here in a moment. Now, what I want you to understand, what I'm asking you to project, is how you see yourself, okay? I want you to project a tree onto that screen. And I want you to really go into detail, go up to that tree and see what are the characteristics of that tree. There's nothing else there, just the tree, okay? What are the characteristics? Take a really good look at that tree. Is it tall? Is it short? Is it wide? And what does the bark look on that tree? Look, what does it look like? Is it falling apart? Is it coming off? Is there any bark? Like that's rough? Is it smooth? Look at the branches. Are they all bunched together? Tiny little short branches or the big long ones? What is on the branches? Are there leaves that are fresh green? Are they dark green? Are they yellow? Are they falling off? Are there any leaves? Or are there flowers? Okay. Really take a good look at that tree. Okay, now I'd like you guys to kind of shake your hands and legs, whatever, open up your eyes. I'm going to talk a little bit about that visualization that you saw. Okay, a little bit like stuffy here. Now, just to kind of give a little bit of an explanation about your visualization and your spirituality, this does represent you, this tree, okay? So one of the things that James, and even in my own discovery with working with my clients on this exercise, is if your tree was very tall, very old, or very wide, typically that means that you're very grounded, very rooted into the earth. You can be very stubborn at times. You might be very resistant to some things, but it doesn't mean that that's a negative connotation. It can also mean that you're very stable, okay? If you have a short tree, it means that you're very new to your growth in spirituality. If the tree is very tall, it means you're a very old soul, okay? Now, when we go to the branches, if they're very short, if it kind of clumped together, it means you're kind of, you're just either very closed off to the growth in the spirituality process, or that you're very new to it, okay? And same goes for the leaves. If they're very green or they're just budding, that sort of thing, it means, you're kind of just starting to open up to fresh ideas. If the branches are very, spread out, they're very like long, and you have flowers on them, it means you're very open. You're very receptive to what spirit has to say to you, very open to your spirituality and connecting to spirit. Flowers often talk about the fact that, it's like you're being literally, like you are so receptive and can connect to spirit very well, that it's not hard for you. Like when you go into a meditation, you just connect right away. These are people that are often labeled as mediums or, psychics. We'll see flowers on their tree. Now, if you have a tree that's very barren or the leaves are changing color, it means that you're starting to grow into another phase of your spirituality. Okay? So, the tree exercise right now can be very different from what it is 6 months from now, even 6 weeks from now, 6 days from now. So, practice doing that once in a while, okay? I'm just going to take a sip of my juice because otherwise I'm going to start coughing. Definitely want you guys to start to visualize that a little bit more and see how that works out for you. See, I'm starting to lose my voice. This happens a lot when I talk too much. I do feel that you guys are going to see some massive changes. If you start to really get yourself in a space of meditation, you're starting to write more of your journal, starting to... Very old. Yeah, Terry, oh, you're back. Awesome. Tall, green, smooth bark, very green leaves. Excellent, Terry. And I know that that's where you're at too. This is a very good exercise. And it's one that I do recommend to my clients. There's others too that I'll be coming and jumping on lives here in the future and working on with you guys. But I really feel this one will be very important for you to work with. And I felt like sharing it as part of just something that can kind of give you a gauge of where you're at in your spiritual growth, okay? Now, one thing I want to say, guys, God says yes, we say no, okay? What does that mean? It means open yourself up to the possibility that there are angels, guides, and ancestors around you, that there is spirit around you that is trying to connect with you every day. Ego says no. We say no if we're operating from ego. If we're operating from a place of love, you're operating from God's source energy, which is allowing you to be more open. So, I rattled off a lot from my book today, and a lot of it can be fear-based. But I also have a journalism background. And part of that journalism background is looking at the facts. And part of astrology, it is a science. And that to me is very important in my practice. To be able to give you guys, what I'm seeing scientifically as well as what I'm feeling spiritually. So you understand that I'm trying to be as thorough as possible when we're talking about a lot of the things, a lot of the events that are coming up, and how you can kind of cope with them. Not kind of, how you can cope with them. I think it's very important. So, we've talked quite a bit. Do you guys have any questions for me? I just want to know if you guys have any questions, because I know there was a lot of me talking, but I'm sure a lot of you have questions. Love, God, source energy, central, sun, many universes. That's another thing I want to say that James talks about a lot, that I'm learning, is that we have universes within universe. Like it just never ends. I could talk to you a little bit about mediumship, but I think I'm going to do a different video on that, and kind of what I'm learning there and where that's going and the development of that process for me. But I'll tell you, it's one heck of a journey. And you guys, there's so much more to this. There's so much more to this than just here. So, a lot of people I know in this group have had people who've passed away. Obviously, everybody has, will at one point experience this. And to think that there is that it's an end is not realistic. There is no end to life. Okay, there is life on the other side, and they are very much by you always. Okay, even if they've crossed over, so to speak, and if anybody knows what crossing over is, it's going into the light. It's going into heaven. It's still in the same plane as us, and they're just vibrating at a higher level. And, we'll get into that in another live chat I'll do in the next maybe couple weeks or so. Let you all digest this and kind of get through the next couple weeks. But everything that I've told you here is quite a bit. Hopefully you guys feel comfortable with some of the stuff I told you. Again, it was not an attempt to push fear or worry or stress into you. It was to hopefully get you comfortable enough and see the importance of finding a place of peace and love in your life, so you can start to invite that and get rid of fear, and to invite that energy towards you rather than repelling it away from you. Because I can tell you with absolute certainty, if we don't start to do that now, it's going to be very tough for you to handle the next 6-7 months. So if you can practice this now and start to really connect to your angels and your guides and what they're telling you, I'd love for you guys to chat in this group. You know, start a chat up. It's not just for me to run this group. If you guys start a chat and you want to put a post up and say, hey, I had this revelation, and this is what I experienced last night. What do you guys think? You know, Candice, what's your ideas on the topic? Or, you know, it might even get me to do another video explaining what that is all about, or whatever. It's this community is here for you guys to all be chatting together too. It's not just about tarot. It's about spirituality. In fact, I might even change the name, just Starlight Community. But I just want you guys to really feel comfortable enough to be able to have conversations like that in here. It's a safe space. It's a private group. I think I don't even know how many members there are in the group anymore. How many are there of us? Oh, geez. 84 members. It's good. It's really good. Strong group. So, you know, we got 84 of us. Start having conversations. I think it's very important to stick together at times like these. A lot of people feel very much alone. I'm not interested in having conversations about, you know, politics or anything. I am interested in having conversations about what can be happening, what we're seeing astrologically. You know, because this isn't a space where I want to see a lot of negativity. I would like to see a lot of hope, a lot of dream building, a lot of love and support for one another. And that's the whole reason why I've started doing this group and started on the path that I'm on, is so that we can start to work towards that as a community. Start small, guys, and it starts with one thought. And one thought leads to another, and it leads to another and another. And the next thing you know, we could override what's happening in this world, you know? So any questions? Oh, you're welcome, Terry. Have a great rest of your day too, hun. Does anybody have any questions at all? Kind of looking at myself on camera. I should never do that. Just checking. I'll wait a little bit longer just to see if you guys have anything you need to say, and then I'll hop off. I'm not actually going to be doing any tarot today. I was thinking about pulling a few cards, but I'll do another chat for that. So if you guys have no more questions, I can leave it where we're at. I was going to do an after party, video after party at 2 o'clock. So if you guys want 2 o'clock my time, Mountain Standard Time, that's literally in like 20 minutes. If you guys want to join that, I will go in for a bit. If nobody's in there, then I'll just leave it. Because not a lot of people are comfortable being on camera. That's fine. Oh yeah, Susan, there's a lot. This is about an hour and a half video. There's a lot, hun. So definitely take the time to rewatch this once this live has ended. It'll be uploaded to the group. Definitely want you to watch it all if you can. But the after party is a video. This is new to Facebook. They are doing like a video chat room that you can join, and you can see each other in the chat room on video. And it would be a nice chance for me to see some of your lovely faces live, since you're always seeing me live, to kind of connect. It's pretty private. It is private. This whole group is private. It's not a public thing. It doesn't get posted anywhere else. So just know that you guys are safe in that space. Another thing I'd like to say, this is a safe space for you guys. Starlight Community is not one where you're going to be judged for your comments. I want you guys to be comfortable posting something, even if you're just new to this side of life, you know, the spiritual side of yourself, and you're just, you know, unaware, you know, feel free to post something in there. There's a lot of people here that are very advanced, and there are a lot of people who are very new to this. So we're all in it together for the purpose of helping each other to understand. So don't feel that you can't, you know, post anything in here. It's not just for me to post, okay? So, any questions? Holly, you're more than welcome. One of my students, one of my awesome students. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap it up. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay positive as best you can. It's going to be a rough ride, but we can make it through it, okay? Love you.